You're sitting in your seat. The engines spool up. The plane starts moving, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a question forms. What if something goes wrong? Most people push that thought down, but you're watching this video, which means part of you actually wants to know the answer. So let me give it to you, the real answer, not the airline's answer. I'm a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer. I work on these aircraft. I sign them off to fly. Today I'm going to tell you exactly how safe flying is, and more importantly, why. Let's start with the number everyone quotes. Flying is the safest form of transport per mile traveled. You've heard that before. But what does it actually mean? In any given year, commercial aviation carries over 4 billion passengers. Fatal accidents globally, typically in the single digits. A fatality rate of roughly 0.07 per billion passenger miles. You are statistically more at risk in the 30-minute drive to the airport than in the entire flight. But here's what those statistics don't tell you. Why is it that safe? Because it didn't happen by accident. Aviation is the most regulated industry on the planet, full stop. Before a single passenger boards, that aircraft has passed through layers of oversight that most industries couldn't imagine. The manufacturer builds to certification standards. Those standards are set by regulators, EASA in Europe, the FAA in the US. Independent bodies with the authority to ground an entire fleet if something isn't right. Then there's the maintenance side. Every inspection, every component replacement, every system check is documented, signed, audited. Any engineer who signs off work that isn't airworthy isn't just risking a job. They're risking a license, a career, and potentially criminal liability. The paperwork exists for one reason: accountability. Here's something most passengers don't realize. Modern commercial aircraft are not designed to work. They're designed to keep working when things fail. That's a different engineering philosophy entirely. Every critical system, hydraulics, electrics, flight controls, has at least one backup. Most have two, some have three. The aircraft is certified to continue flying safely if any single system fails. That's not a hope. That's a certification requirement. The engines are the same. A twin-engine aircraft can fly on one engine for hours if required. It's not an emergency. It's a designed capability. Pilots train for failures constantly, not occasionally. Constantly, in simulators, under pressure. So that if a failure ever occurs in the real aircraft, it is not the first time they have seen it. Let me tell you what actually happens before your flight. Before that aircraft moves, a licensed engineer walks around it, checks control surfaces, checks fluid levels, checks tires, lights, access panels, then signs a document that says, "This aircraft is airworthy." That signature is not routine. It's responsibility. During line maintenance, any defect found gets logged, assessed against the minimum equipment list, the MEL. Some items can be deferred under specific conditions, most cannot. If the defect affects airworthiness in a way that exceeds the MEL, that aircraft doesn't fly. What you see on the ramp is not an aircraft that happened to be available. It's an aircraft that passed. So why does flying still feel frightening? Because your brain isn't wired for statistics. It's wired for perceived control. When you're in a car, you feel like you're in control, even though the data says you're in more danger. When you're at 35,000 feet, you're not in control. And that absence of control triggers a fear response. Your brain is trying to protect you, not inform you. That response is normal, it's human, but it's not based on actual risk. The fear of flying is almost never about the engineering. The engineering is exceptional. The fear is about the feeling. Knowing the difference between feeling unsafe and being unsafe, that's what this channel exists to give you. So is flying safe? Yes, and not even close. Not because pilots are superhuman, not because aircraft never have problems, but because the entire system, the engineers, the regulators, the training programs, the certification standards, is built around one principle. Failure is not acceptable. And that principle, applied consistently across every airline, every aircraft, every flight, is why you get on board in the first place. I'm an aircraft maintenance engineer. This is what we do. Failure is not acceptable. If you want to understand aviation, subscribe. I break it down in a way that actually makes sense. See you in the next one.